Independent broadcaster Alex Jones has come to the defense of Joe Rogan after controversy began to swirl following the launch of his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, on Spotify. When the show launched on Spotify, there were nearly 50 episodes missing, which led fans to start wondering if potentially the show was being censored by Spotify. Now, I picked this up this morning when it was a breaking story. I talked about some potential theories as to why I think it may have been censored, if indeed it was. And now Alex Jones has come out and responded to the situation, as some of those episodes were episodes featuring him. So here's what Alex has to say, and then we'll take it in and respond to it.
I had a lengthy discussion with Joe this morning, just a few minutes ago, because I had to call him in the middle of the night. Buzz, call. I get up at like 5 a.m., dozens of text messages and calls saying, is Spotify censoring the Joe Rogan podcast? And I didn't know until I talked to him this morning, and he explained it. They've got 1,500 plus files and then some migrating over, and they've had a few problems here and there with corrupted files, with the naming of them.
So just notice, that's the first statement. Corrupted files is the first reason.
And Spotify wants to have a first rollout and then a second rollout, and here's the key. Joe Rogan's favorite 100 episodes of the last 10 years or so will be left on YouTube starting December 31st, when he goes exclusively to Spotify. For this couple month no man's land, the content will be on both platforms and will be migrating over. And so that's why the Alex Jones interview is not there. That's why some of the other interviews aren't there.
So listening to what Alex said there, the first reason he cites, like I paused and mentioned, is data corruption and issues transferring files. The second issue he mentions is that Joe Rogan is handpicking 100 episodes to put aside that are going to be his favorite episodes to keep on YouTube. So I'm still not clear. Is it because of file corruption? Is it because Joe's handpicking 100 episodes? I love Joe Rogan. I just want to say that for the record. Alex Jones, I don't necessarily love because I don't really watch him, but I'm sort of entertained by what he does to a certain degree. I have no ill will against Alex Jones. But the two of them, when they get in cahoots and they start coming out with these stories of, well, I got on the phone with Alex last night and he said, and then Alex will go on his show and say, well, that's not exactly what happened. This is what happened. And I talked to Joe the other night, and it'll sort of go back and forth of them saying, well, he kind of mischaracterized what I said in this way. And whenever it's this thing that's Alex and Joe Rogan got on the phone, it's always something confusing and something that, to me, doesn't necessarily add up. Again, I talked in the last video about how Joe Rogan is a businessman. Publicly, what comes first is being a businessman, I think, at this stage in the game. And people made the point that he's been like that for a number of years, and I agree. He's been well established like that for a number of years. And so is Alex. So I think that they're good at picking the provocative things to say and to respond to when it comes to one another, and both sort of coming out and talking about how they were on the phone. I will believe it when I hear it come from Joe Rogan's mouth directly, is ultimately what I'm driving at here. I'm not saying Alex Jones is a liar. I'm not saying anybody's a liar. All I'm saying is that until I see Joe Rogan sit down and address this doesn't make exact sense to me. When you look at the list of people, I mean, 3 Owen Benjamin episodes in a row. Pretty much every person on this list is either a right-wing figure and or accused of sexual assault in some way. So let's say it's 100% true that this is Joe Rogan's favorite episodes. Why are all of his favorite episodes with people who are controversial and being accused of things right now in the media? Let's go ahead and say that it's data corruption. Then why is the data corruption happening to people who are strongly opinionated on politics, left and or right, connected with some sort of controversial figure, or have controversial things to say? Again, like I ended the last video, curious to see what Joe Rogan will say, and I look forward to hearing it.